All right, welcome back. We are going to work a little bit on how to get access to MyMathLab and how to move around in MyMathLab and get to the homework assignments and so on. So first of all, we're going to go under Materials Content. Remember, that's the place I put almost everything. So Materials Content. And now I have different modules, right? We have the FAQ, the syllabus, and so on. I'm going to scroll down to MyMathLab. All right, it might be Pearson MyMathLab, MyMathLab. I try and keep it pretty consistent, but it should be pretty self-evident which one it is. So MyMathLab, we're going to click on the link that says Pearson MyLab and Mastering. All right, and at this point, once you've gotten yourself in as far as either using the temporary access or your access code, you should be seeing something that looks like this. It should have your book, and then it should have this orange button or yellowish orange button in order to be able to take you from the D2L page to Pearson MyMathLab. So let's go ahead and do that. And as you can see, things are a little different here. I'm going to just shuffle this over a little bit. I am going to change my view to a student view. So this is what you as a student would be seeing. If you take a look here, I have the college course name, and I have the due dates. All right. So this is, if you wanted to get to work on your homework, you have up until midnight this day to finish up your work, to get it without any kind of penalty, assuming that there's a penalty attached to being late. So there's a couple of ways you can get into your assignments, and this is where you come back to, to find everything again. There's a few things here that you're not going to see because you are not the instructor, but most of these are going to be the same. So first of all, we can go to assignments, or we can go to our calendar, or we can go to the current assignments that are spelled out for us. All right. So I'm going to, let's just say I'm uncomfortable. I want to make sure that I'm doing everything. I've gotten a chance to take a look at everything that's in here. We're going to go to assignments. And here you see a list of all sorts of things. You have optional videos, and I tell you which materials are covered in it. I give you the homework, and again, I tell you which is covered and what the topic is. If you are stuck on something, or if you're like, I understood it in class, but I don't remember anymore, and my explaining it in video does not make sense to you, you can always go into the optional videos, and these are well and truly optional. You do not have to watch these. This is not going to affect your grade at all. But if you are struggling with something, I tried to be really clear in my labeling of things. Say you were couldn't remember how to do the inverse property of addition. There are two videos here helping you out. Or there's an inverse property of addition, and then there's the identity property of addition in here. So you could go to the inverse property of addition, and if you click on that, it will take you to a video. All right, and I'm going to close this up again. We don't need to see that, but the idea being that these are resources for you to be able to utilize. Let's say you're struggling with something and you're like, okay, I'm not really good at learning it from videos. I prefer to read it. I'm going to go to the e-text. Right? And you can click whichever area you need to be looking at. In this case, we're doing the just-in-time. I'm going to click on this. And I can do the just-in-time review. That's going to give me my e-text resources. And it's going to take a moment to populate. I apologize for that, but it's worth knowing that it takes a moment. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. Hang on a second. All right, this is much better. You can see you've got the actual, you've got all the information that you're going to need here. Tells you what all is going on. Here's your the JIT, for lack of a better term, table of contents, and then here you can take a look at the different topics. In this case, this is JIT1, and they talk about these different types of numbers. So this is how you would get started. You can't really see it very well. I'm going to move this up a bit. Can't see this very well, but here's where you would have your page number, and you can use this arrow either to the left or to the right. There's one on the other side as well, to get yourself moved around within the context of the book. So going back, I'm going to go back to this. Again, I'm going to go to my main menu, my course home. And in this case, that's the teacher view. Here's my student view. If you have announcements that are super critical to MyMathLab, I will put them here and in D2L. Past due assignments, it lets you know that you've missed some deadline and that you need to get on that. Your current assignments shows you what's current. Again, you can click on here, and you can click on here, or you can click on the assignments right here to be able to get your work done. So a couple other resources. There's a study plan. You are not required to do this, but it is a useful tool. If you find that you're struggling with something, this is a good way to kind of figure out what you've got mastered and what you don't. There's your video and resource library. You have all sorts of other videos that were prepared by Pearson MyMathLab in order to be able to access that information in videos and resources, accessible resources. These are things that that I provide, and I'm actually going to go into one of the assignments and show you where you can go at something. And I'll come back to how to complete assignments here in just a moment, but I want to at least give you some information about the resources available. Once you're in a problem, there's a drop-down thing here that says, help me solve this problem. You can it will help you walk through this exact problem and give you a new one to practice on. You can view an example and still be able to do this problem specifically. You can take a look at one of the Pearson videos. You can take a look at the Pearson text. And kind of as a last resort, if you haven't figured it out, go ahead and hit the Ask My Instructor. What the catch on this is, it's sending me an email, and I'm not necessarily sitting at my computer. If you're working on homework and you want to keep going, but you're kind of stuck, then you're probably better off using these resources or going back to the optional videos that I provide, rather than hitting the Ask My Instructor, just because I may not be at my desk. If I am, of course I will respond, but if I'm not at my desk, it could take up to like 36 hours before I see it. If I've just logged off and your email comes in, then it may be a full 24 hours or more before I actually see it and get back to you. So again, using the resources to your advantage is probably your best bet. I'm going to stop now, and I'm going to go back. We'll come back to this as to how to do similar questions or completing the homework.